Well, this is the first and probably the last double duty post, or double duty movie, I should say. This one is for two groups of people, rockhounds and boaters. It's a very rare occasion you can combine the two. So what I'm going to do here is show you a stone from Wyoming called Turritella, which is a very popular western gemstone. A nice chunk. The main deposits seem to be found around Rock Springs, Wyoming. Now, the other part of it is I've been boating my entire life. I have put about 55 years on the water of Washington and Canada. And I have been everywhere. The South Sound, Central Sound, North Sound, straight along to Fuca, San Juan Islands, north into the Canadian Gulf Islands. I've been all through the Discovery Islands in Canada and up through the Johnstone Strait, all the way up into the Broughton Archipelago. And I've also done the Broken Group Islands on the west coast of Vancouver Island. Now about the Turritella, is I have very carefully examined beaches all over the place on the way. I can land anywhere I want to, and in all of my travels, many thousands of miles on the inland water system, I have only seen one very small pool that creates some kind of a micro environment that actually has living Turritella in it. So and that is right here in South Sound. So we're going to go down and take a look at these living fossils. Everybody likes finding fossils, but very few people have ever seen them before they become fossils. This is a piece of Turritella, like I said, from near Rock Springs, Wyoming. And when you cut it the right way, you can see the snails in it. Now that's the secret of the whole thing. You've got to cut it in the right direction. So here's the part for you rockhounds. This stuff comes in huge slabs, anywhere from 4 to 6 inches thick. So you get these big slabs of Turritella. It's laying in the ground like this. And you have to do what I call double cutting. You cut it the first time, use a trim saw blade for a demo. You cut it the first time this way. That's your first cut. Is 90 degrees to the direction the thing is laying in the ground. You're just cutting the slab into chunks. And you get a flat spot on either side. You cut it into blocks. And after you cut it into blocks, now here is a piece that's been blocked, and this has been cut against the slab. I mean, I shouldn't say against the slab, 90 degrees to the direction it lays in the ground, like this. This is the way I sawed this one. And you can see when you cut it that way, all you get is a bunch of little circles. You don't get much pattern. What you have to do is, you can see on the top of this one the fossilized snails, and they're laying in there horizontally. So in order to get the really good Turritella pattern, you have to cut it this way. And the function of making blocks is so that you can get a good bite on it in the saw and get the maximum yield out of this material. So you double cut it, whack it into slabs, and what you end up with is a piece that has the really nice patterns in it to really make good jewelry. Well, there's your rock hounding lesson. Now, let's climb on board the Crystal Ship 2 and head to Hope Island South in search of living Turritella. This is awfully early in the season, so I don't know if they're in there or not. I presume that they're there all year because the waters of Puget Sound, unlike lakes, does not change temperature. It stays pretty much the same temperature all year round. And we've been having this fantastic early spring weather, pre-spring weather, February and March. It's just been gorgeous. So I'm going to pile in the boat and go down there and see if I can show them to you. Here we go. Okay, here is a classic piece of Turritella from Wyoming. Shows the pattern of the snails in it. Yeah, and this is a couple of finished pieces of jewelry that I made from the Wyoming Turritella. A bolo tie and a pendant with my lean and clean mountings. So now let's go see if we can find the real thing. Now get on the throttle. Woo! Little north breeze, but not bad. The north wind can make things very interesting for you at this boat ramp. Okay, clear the Harstein Island Bridge, and we are going to head south down Squaxin Passage to the south beach of Hope Island. That's Hope Island South. There are two Hope Islands in the Washington Inland Water System, and both of them are state parks. This one is in South Sound, the other one is up in North Sound, on the northern fringe of the Skagit Delta. Now I'll get a few more things set up and then we'll bring the throttle up and go. Going in search of Turritella living fossils. I hope I'm not too late because the tide's up here pretty good. Beautiful day today. Doesn't get any better than this for first week of March. Put her in gear and go. Turritella is a popular gemstone from Wyoming, and we're going to see if we can find some of its living relatives. It consists of fossilized snails, but years ago I discovered a tide pool that has in it what looks like living Turritella, so we're going to go have a look at it. Let her warm up just a bit more and then I'll bring the throttle up and we're underway. Left is Harstein Island, dead center is Squaxin Island, and to the right is the mainland. We'll be cruising through Squaxin Passage, which is the one on the right hand side to take the most direct route to Hope Island. A couple seals out there snorting around. Turn on the fish finder, see what they're after.
Okay, we're up to about normal cruising speed, around 20 to 23 miles an hour. And I'm going to kick in the hyperdrive and bring her up to about 200 miles an hour. Hyperdrive coming up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hyperdrive! Hang on to your hat. 200 miles an hour. Here we go. Okay, we are headed down Pickering Passage at about 200 miles an hour with the north tip of Squaxin Island coming up. We're now passing the north tip of Squaxin Island and entering Squaxin Passage. Headed south. One of the prettiest little passages there is in South Sound, or just about anywhere. And in the center you can see Hope Island coming up on us. Squaxin Island to the left, Hope Island in the center, little tiny Steamboat Island in the background, and the mainland on the right. We're going to go in the east side of the Squaxin Passage between Squaxin Island and Hope Island, and then swing around the south beach to where our target area is, and as soon as we swing around the south end of the island, disengage the hyperdrive, and we will go back into real time. Here we go, getting ready for the big slowdown.
Okay, and we're here. Now I'll turn the camera off for a little bit while I get myself set up to go ashore. Looks like the pool that I'm interested in should be exposed. Try to get behind this riptide. 14 feet of water. Get out of the riptide in this little back eddy. Shallow water alarm. Stern anchor over. Bottom in sight. Motor up and tipped. There's no logs to tie to. I'm going to have to use anchor. That'll work. case you've noticed, doing a Siwash anchorage is an inexact science. Well, she's hooked good. So as far as this old man can pull that heavy beast. Okay, got her under control. Okay, up the hill we go. A big boy out there playing. Certainly a perfect day to do it. And as you can see, I've got a perfectly executed Siwash anchorage. Stern anchor planted out about 80 feet behind the boat, and the bow anchor, main anchor, is crammed, literally stomped into the root systems of the salt grass up here. And here's the pool where the Turritella live. I think I see some in there. Yep, they're home. Got to watch where I'm going so I don't sink up to my knees in this stuff. They obviously are active all year round. And here you have it, folks. Living Turritella. This is the only pool where I have seen a concentration of these. I find one or two scattered here and there, but I've never seen a concentration like this anywhere else. There are lots of tracks around the bottom where they've been crawling around. This does get water in it on the high tides. There we go. There you have them. Get them out in the sun here. Thank you for cooperating today, little friends. Keeping a wary eye on the boat. So that's it, the legendary Turritella pool of Hope Island. It only gets water in this pool on the highest part of the tide. It's kind of a strange environment. It fills and drains through that entrance way back there. Just behind the main spit that forms this little tiny cubby hole here. Don't get caught in there on a low tide, or you're going to have a long slug through the mud. Beautiful spot here. Absolute gorgeous area. And it looks like the big guy is going to grab a mooring buoy out there. No place like South Sound. There's another small pool which has a really large concentration of them in there. Oh, there's lots of them. There's also some sculpin fry swimming around in there. You can see here is the slot where the lagoon fills and drains. Shouldn't say the lagoon, I should say the pool. It's the only place it gets in, so you see it's up here pretty darn high. Only on the highest tide does the water actually get in here. Well, that might have something to do with why they chose this place to live, some kind of strange condition that they really need. Like I said earlier, maybe it gets a little rainwater dilution too during the monsoon season. We're investigating Puget Sound here with Rocky. We're gonna get ready to shove off. We've still got a rising tide, so I'm gonna be okay to get out of here. Had to go start tugging on lines and get readjusted for departure. I haven't got a very good set on the bow anchor intentionally, because right now I'm just kind of sitting here relaxing and waiting for the incoming tide to do its thing. When I feel the bow start to lift off of the beach, I'll drag the bow anchor in, pull on the stern anchor line, get the motor running, and we'll head back out to deeper water. Then I'll go back and pull on the anchor line, the stern anchor that is. Keep away from the transducer. I got a maid in the shade, man. Now we'll back her out and get her in safe water, and I'll clean up the mess.
Okay, well, thank you all for riding along today to beautiful Hope Island, getting her turned around, and well, you can even see Mount Rainier out there in the distance. That's one thing the GoPro camera doesn't do very well is long shots, but you can still see it. It's a pretty impressive sight from down here. I'm just going to head on down the way, make a couple other stops, got a couple other little filming missions to do today. So a pretty nice day for early March. There's your little trip to the Turritella beds as promised. So remember, bottom feeders, keep your gills wet and your mouths in the mud, and any trip that you come back from is a good one. See you next time.